Hey guys, welcome back to our last lesson of Unit 11, and this is surface areas and volumes of spheres. So this is the one object we haven't looked at all yet, and we're going to do surface areas and volumes on the same lesson. So first let's look at surface area of a sphere. So I'm sure you guys, let me turn my pointer on. Sure, you guys recognize the sphere, right? This is kind of a globe shape. It is a ball, so pretty much any ball in any sport besides football is generally going to be spherical, meaning we have a constant radius throughout, and this is almost like if you made a circle three-dimensional. Now the surface area here, really easy, 4 pi r squared. 4 pi r squared, that's it. So in fact, it's almost like you took this circle, right, which would have an area of pi r squared, and you just multiply it by 4. That's it. So let's imagine here that we have this sphere, and we're asked to find the surface area. Well, the diameter is 10 meters. That means the radius is going to be 5 meters. So we plug in that into our formula. We're doing 4 pi 5 squared, so that's going to give us 100 pi, and we're done. That's how easy this is. 4 pi r squared for the surface area. Let's look at one more. We see here, this is going to be a little more complicated. We see here that Earth's equator is about 24,902 miles long. And we're asked, what is the approximate surface area? Now notice, they give us the equator, which is all the way around the Earth, so that's circumference. We need to get from there to radius first. Then we want to go from there, from the radius to the surface area. So the first thing we're going to do is find the radius. We know that the circumference is 2 pi r, or pi d. In this case, we want to find r, so we're going to use this formula. The circumference, as we know, is 24,902. Divide both sides by 2 pi, and that should give us r. So we're dividing 24,902 by 2 pi. That should give us r, and so that puts r at about 3,963. Which is a reasonable approximation for the radius of Earth in miles. Step 2, we're going to use that radius to find the surface area. Remember, our formula is 4 pi r squared, so 4 pi r squared is the surface area formula. We're going to plug in r up here. We're going to square r, then multiply by 4 pi. And that should give us approximately 197,387,017.5 square miles, which they're going to round off to be 197,387,000 square miles. Notice we are back in surface area, not volume right now. So the answer is going to be miles squared, not miles cubed. By the way, I would mostly ignore this calculator command line. I think this is a different calculator than the ones we would use. So I would recommend you use kind of this formula, square the r first, then multiply by pi, then multiply by 4. Okay, let's look at volume. So now we are going to be in cubic units. And notice the formula is so similar. It's just slightly different. So here we're doing 4 over 3, so 4/3 pi r cubed in this case, pi r cubed. What's really neat about these two formulas, the 4 pi r squared and now the 4/3 pi r cubed, and you guys will see this when you get to higher levels of calculus, actually really just basic calculus you can use for this. If you take the derivative of this volume formula, you actually wind up with 4 pi r squared, which is the surface area formula. So that's just kind of a neat trick that you'll get to go back and look at when you get to calculus. If anyone, by the way, in their math coursework discovers why that works and why it doesn't work for some other shapes, please come back and let me know, or send me an email, something like that. So let's try to apply that 4/3 pi r cubed formula to this sphere with a radius of 6 meters. So first we're going to set up our volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed, right? We're going to plug in 6 right into that r. So we're going to do 4/3 pi 6 cubed. And if we multiply all that out, we're going to wind up with 288 pi meters cubed. Okay. Notice the fraction here can be a little tricky. What I would recommend you do is do 6 cubed. We'll save the pi for later. So 6 cubed divided by 3 times 4. That should give you that 288. And then, of course, you can just leave the pi in the answer. For question number 4, let's assume that the volume of a sphere is 5,000 meters cubed. What is the surface area? So what we know is the volume of the sphere, that's about 5,000 meters cubed. What we would need to find the surface area is the radius of the sphere. So what you would do to solve this problem is work backwards from the volume using the formula for volume and solve for r. Then you'd go ahead and use the radius, r, to plug that into the surface area formula, 4 pi r squared, and that way you could get surface area. But this exercise is mostly trivial, and it's left as an exercise to the viewer. So, homework 91, I'm getting close to 100 here, guys, is page 1691, numbers 9 and 12, and page 1692, number 17. In addition to those 3 exercises, you don't have any slides to view for tonight because we are coming up on a test, but I would recommend that you begin reviewing for the unit test. So start going over past homework assignments, quizzes, and slides from chapter 11. You are going to see all those shapes that we've gone over, so prisms, cylinders, cones, pyramids, and spheres, and composite figures made up of kind of those combined. You will see those on the unit test. So please start going over all that stuff now. We're going to have our review day next class, and then, of course, the test, the class after. Thank you guys for viewing. I will see you next class, and good luck.